All right. Okay, we have a nice little window. Let's get some more stuff going. Oh, that's a dog. All right. Let's put some stuff. Let's reformat this window. Okay, so if I add a row, what's going to happen? Okay, it's going to go at the top. So I want to render, what is that, like 3 rows down with my new header. I can maybe add a header to say this is the chat. So we'll render that here. We'll start there. Okay. So now we have that, and then we'll add back. Oops. Okay, that's good. Okay. But I want to test out so then what am I going to call reformat text with a width of 50? Okay, so we go off out off the bottom, and that's why. Let me try that. Reformat text. I'm still going off. Where is that? Oh, the height. Is that the only place it's used? Yeah, so we'll do height. Height should actually be like -5. Yeah, every single time, man. Reformat text 50. Okay, maybe one more. Okay, perfect. So now I've got a little chat that I can move around. So now let's increase the, let's resize it. Resizing. Because right now it's there we go. I do like this. I like that I can move it around. I can just kind of have it like over. Kind of looks nice. There's not actually anything flowing through yet. I need to turn that on. Okay, so now for resizing, I need to actually make that available. I mean, I guess I can do it through a key binding, but I should probably just make it a command. Okay, so okay, we'll just have one window open. I should embed this in the state itself, but we're just going to do it poorly for now, and then I'll adjust it later. So we'll do like, we'll do the width wrapping, or let's see, chat or window width. It's like 48. Everywhere I'm doing 48. Unbox. Actually, that shouldn't have it. The width should be referenced. Okay, and then this should, now if I do, there we go. We actually get some scroll back. Cool. That's nice. Okay. So now reformat text. Everything should be taking the width. So resize. We'll say like current window. We'll just have as a, once again, it's a box. And then when we push, actually, we should probably just have the window be around. Should just have the window be around. I can probably do that. Because right now I make a new, yeah, okay. So we'll just do, okay, so show window is also going to, it's going to make this new window. Okay, so we're going to do, all right, we need a few things. We need this window, like we need a toggle on the window. So we'll do like hide window. We'll do like, how do I do this? probably just need to pop the component off. Or I can just not render it. But if I have the window around all of the time, that's probably fine. That's right, I am locked in. I'm making Twitch chat in Helix. Oh, check this out. So then let's do... Okay, type something. Type something in the chat. Or else I'll be forced to. Here we go. So now it'll pop up here. So I made floating windows the other day. Yes, happy scheming. I was trying to make the window like resizable by dragging in the bottom right. And I just kept crashing because of some out of bounds stuff from Helix that I just don't feel like fixing right now. So I'm punting on the resizable part for a little bit because I don't really want to deal with just instant panics over and over again. I want to make it do the thing that I want at least. But this so far looks pretty good. And then I want to do resizing with just commands. And then I want to like toggle it. So that's my plan right now. And then if I get bored with that, I might do some Catan or a few of the steel things that I want to work on. Some other eval with namespace stuff or serialization stuff, whichever one is interesting. But you know, we'll keep cooking here. Okay, so I have this running now, which is good. But now what do I need? I need to actually like manipulate the window. But I need to hide the window. So then I will have an extra field. We'll have an extra field hidden. Or I guess like show or something. I don't know. I don't know what the field should be. But by default, it'll be true. Okay. So then after we show the window, basically during everything, I just want to do like no matter what, I just want to check if it's even showing in the first place before I do any event handling. So we'll just say like draggable window show. We'll make it a question mark. Actually, we'll do hidden. Hidden I think is fine. Hidden state Okay, so if it's hidden, just do frickin' nothing. Ignore it. And same for say window or draggable window hidden. Great. And then same for rendering. When not hidden. Render it. So then I should be able to say, do a few things. So then we'll make a, where's show window? Okay. Current window, we're just going to make it a box. And then show window is going to toggle. It's gonna toggle the thing. So let's see. If current, if not unbox, then we're going to make a new window. Else we're going to actually, we'll do it the other way. If we have a window, we're just going to set draggable window. Set the draggable window hidden to true, or to false rather, in this case. I'll just do like toggle window. So we'll go off and on. Else, if there isn't a window, we're going to make a window. And then we're going to set box. Current window, draggable window. And we'll push that bad boy on. Okay, let's just clean it up. So we'll have I guess the window doesn't really matter. The window doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we should have toggle window. Okay. Toggle window didn't do anything. Toggle window didn't do anything. Why? Let's try that. Toggle window. Still nothing, huh? Okay, we have a window. Oh. There we go. So now if I toggle it, it should still be there, just ignoring all my things. And now it's still on the stack. Okay, awesome. So now we have a toggleable window, and then now I just want to resize. So I want to like increase the size of the window. We'll try that. Okay, so now I got rid of it. Now I think if I toggle window though, it's not going to show up. Yeah, okay. Because it's popped off the stack. So I want to toggle a window. So when I actually kill it, things like event result close, I actually want to say kill the other window. Okay. We'll just make this up here. Okay, so now it should be behaving. Which is good. Okay, and then what did I say? Toggle window. I want to resize. So we'll do resize window. Or like increase window size. We'll just make it bigger. Okay, so we'll do current width should be define window. We'll unbox it. The current width is going to be draggable window area width okay, so then we're gonna say define new area. We're just gonna like add we'll add like 20 to each thing. I don't know if that's reasonable, but it'll work at least. So we'll do define new area is like area X current area Y current area, and then we'll also add we'll do something like that, and then set draggable window area. New area. Okay. So now if I show toggle window now, okay, and I do increase window size. There we go. Nice. That's working. Increase window size. So now I have a big window. But now if I do this again, it's back to small because I killed it. I closed the window. Okay, awesome. Cool. And then I think I just need to set the width, set the text wrapping width to be -2. Yeah, window width, because I think I initialize it to 50. Yeah, it's like down here. We'll make some constants. Okay, and then we'll just slap that in here. We'll do like just do like default area. Okay, that's cool. Cool. And then what do we want? Then window width will be initialized to -2. How is window width a box? Don't I unbox it? It's not a box. Okay. And then resize or increase. This is going to be set box of window width. Set box window width. Area width. New area. Cool. Nice. Increase window size. Okay, I should probably do the same for decrease. And then we'll have an adjust window size XY or with delta height delta. Adjust window size -20 and -10 perhaps. We'll do the same here, but we'll just do 20 and 10. Okay. Toggle window, and then now we'll do increase window size, decrease window size. There we go. And it's working. Nice. Thank you. Very exciting. Very exciting stuff. I made it, at least it doesn't panic. Toggle window. Because I think you can just, if you, well, let's see. I don't know. It might, yeah, it crashed. At least it doesn't panic. Oh, isn't that great? All right. Well, I might as well fix it. That's right. Easy work. I might as well fix it. 594. Okay. We'll just the problem is this is like used everywhere, and I don't understand why there isn't bounds checking. I don't know if like I don't know if it's supposed to. Well, right, that's the thing. Doesn't it just it still bounce checks, it just panics. Like I don't think there's any difference. Where is this thing defined? Okay. Yeah. Index of, and then it just goes to a vec. And vec index. A vec index is, what is it called? Standard ops index. I don't know. Isn't it like the same? Index? Called index. Index. You just keep going. Index. Because it's not calling get unchecked. It's calling get. It always checks the length. So, like, what does it matter? I don't know. Just feels a bit silly. Feels a bit silly to have to, like, re-implement bounds checking everywhere on this side of it. Like, I understand it might be the responsibility, but I guess this was done... Like, it might be the responsibility of the caller, but given that I'm, like, my original plan was to just, my original plan was to just, I don't even know what my original plan was, to be honest with you. My original plan was to just... Yeah. When I was writing software render, was first doing bounds checking locally, ended up just doing it once at the top level. Yeah. So, like... The part I don't understand is, like, why they don't do any bounds checking. And I guess the whole shtick is, like... They were the only ones ever in control of drawing stuff, so if they are 100% confident, like, it's just, shit's gonna crash anyway. But given that I'm, like, directly calling into these things, I really should be bounds checking. Because you could just plumb in any random value there, and it could just crash. And then if every caller's responsibility is to do the bounds checking. And then my original plan was to just provide wrappers on all of these, so that from my side, from the steel side, like, I'll go through the bounds checking. And then we'll bounds check twice, I guess. But the biggest issue I have there is that I'm like re-exporting a bunch of the original buffer writing stuff, just like directly. It might be. But it's like I also could just like fix it right here. Because it's like, it's just set style. It's like right here, man. Because it's just like, I just do this. I just change it to get mute. Get mute map. And we're done. It's done. Well, maybe not. I do think it's worthy, but it's also one of those things like I can't imagine it would affect performance. And I'm like, should I just slide it in with my PR? I don't want to do that. See, it works. Okay. Let's just see what happens. I think it's also going to fail somewhere else. Actually, it might not. This might just work. If so, I may just slap it behind a if steal, do the thing, else do the old thing. Call it a day. I mean, like, I don't think anybody really cares. The release build takes forever. There we go. Okay, so now I want to do that, and then we'll toggle the window, increase window size, increase window size, increase. Okay. See, that seems fine. I know, man. Yeah, they moved to Z because they didn't like how long it was taking. Well. Oh, but now I can't drag it up. What the heck? What the heck? Oh, I know why that is. I know why that is. Because I started adding bounds check on my side so that you couldn't do like, you couldn't drag like off. And I think it's because since this is already beyond the bound, it's just like, it's just like, I can't do this anymore. I could do both. There's nothing stopping me from doing both. I'll just leave this for now. I won't commit that. Dude, I know, isn't it sick? I don't know why it's so cool. It's just like, and there's something about it. I understand it's like a modal editor. You're not supposed to touch your freaking mouse, okay? But like, isn't this kind of cool? You can be like, oh, check this out. And I was trying to do this. I was trying to drag to resize. I was thinking like, wouldn't that be so cool? You could just say like, boom, bang, and you just have a little resizable window, fuss about it. And I wanted a little X button in the top right, like it's building my own little desktop environment. I thought it could be cool. But with respect to changing editors, I think the biggest thing is that like, yeah, exactly. People care way too much about their editor. Like they make it their personalities, and it's like, why did they even need to move? Why did they even use Helix in the first place? Yeah, exactly. They're like, I was forced to move. My hands were tied. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? It's just Open up Notepad++ and start typing. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just an editor. Like, nothing, it doesn't really matter. It's just cool. Like, whatever floats your boat. But to say like I can't use this thing because it doesn't have this extra feature that it simply never had because I can't be bothered to build a branch from source is crazy. Like, if you got to this point, you could build the branch from source and give it a shot. Yeah, it feels so good sometimes. I like turned off my LSPs for a couple weeks. It was kind of a pain in the ass for work because the code base is really big. But man, I was just like grepping around. It feels great. Feels great. My first 2 classes that were in like C and C++. No, I used an IDE for the C++ one, but for the first the 2 C classes, I was just 3. I was just ripping Vim over SSH on like nothing. Like, I had nothing. I don't even think I enabled syntax highlighting like 98% of the time because I didn't know how. And I was like, you know what, whatever. It feels good. You get really connected. You really understand what you're typing. Now, I like the colors, though. The colors are fun. Okay. So now I'll just do... I think I'll just... I know. Using Vim but can't enable syntax. I figured it out eventually. But I think the reason, part of it was like, the way I was interacting with it was like, I would just open up Vim, type like 5 things, and then close it, and then run like make. And then I'd reopen it, type 4 things, close it, and run make. I'm not suggesting it was a good experience, but that's just like what I was doing. It was just, you know, I don't know. I think it was the first class was doing like, it was pretty basic stuff. But the other one I did that for was OS, which was really dumb. I don't know why I did it that way. It made it really hard on myself. It was fun though. Fun class. Okay. I'm just going to do bounds checking before I commit that change. So I think it's like adjust window. I did well in both classes, for the record. Although there was a handwritten class, or there was a handwritten test for the first class, and we had to do the floating point manually, like calculate, do the mantissa and all that stuff. Absolutely bungled it. I was really embarrassed afterwards. I realized I did the math like all wrong. Got that paper back and the grade was not good, and I was like, should have had that one. Could have gotten that one back. But otherwise did well. Did well in operating systems. Fun class. Did well in the other one. Not as fun, but you had to learn. Okay, adjust window size. I was not very good at programming at that point in time. That was I only started programming in college. So I was not particularly confident in what I was doing. Now I'm pretty confident. All right, let's do, so when I'm dragging, event mouse. Okay, the global max height. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do these bounds checks. It's such a chore. Okay. All right, whatever. I really need to like make this into a library that is usable, because currently I feel like I have to reinvent writing a UI every time I use this component stuff. So over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to try to make it a little bit better. Because I have a little, like, picker widget. I have, like, a little, like, a picker widget, a drop, like, user space drop downs, a user space picker, all that stuff. I think I can... Yeah. I wouldn't write that off in perpetuity. Like, they just forked Ratatouille. Or, well, okay. They forked what? 2 ERS, right? And then Ratatouille came in. I wouldn't write it off entirely. Yeah. It's not, I wouldn't say it's impossible. You could just re-implement every Ratatouille widget in Steel instead. If you hate yourself, you can spend forever doing that. I made Sellers a ton in the terminal. Hold on. I'll find it. Let me see. I don't know where it is. Where the heck did I put it? Oh, I did. Yeah, the first implementation was in the terminal, which was actually kind of sick. But I don't remember where I put it. You know, that's the thing. I don't even know if I really like it. I played a lot in high school. I played a lot in high school, and I had a good time with it. Yeah, so you have like you have a room browser, and then you can create a room, and then you enter into the game, and you have like the terminal on the top left. I am what year is it? 26? I'm 27. 27. But I had this whole thing. Look, like I made like stupid. Oh, nice. Same, nice. I had like a whole. This was all in Ratatouille, like a little trading widget, like a little modal, and then you offer the trade and it like pops up. I was loving this, and then like implementing this was actually such a pain in the ass. I gave up. I was like, I'm not doing this again. But it was a fun like. It was a fun like 2 weeks of ridiculous hacking. Okay, what am I doing here? We'll just do, I gotta do bounds checking. Adjust window size, I think is what I was doing. And then I have, yep, global max height. We got global max height and global max width. So then I just need to check if how do I do this? It was basically if what am I trying to do? I just don't want it to go off the screen. Okay, so I have a delta. Okay. The x will never change. And then not the max. Not quite good enough. Not quite good enough. Oh, that's not right. The y space is not just the height. It's plus the draggable window x, perhaps, or y. Window. Let's try that. Okay. Cool. So you can go off the screen a little bit. Only so much. I don't know why that works. But now you cannot go off the screen on the bottom because I'm adding these bounds checks, which is fine. Okay, that works. That'll do. That'll do. Okay. Okay. Now what? Now what? That's pretty good. What else do I even want to do? It's quite nice outside. I mean, I do want to. I played some football yesterday. That was fun. I went for a run this morning. That was good. I'm procrastinating on some chores, some household chores I have to do. I'll get that done. Okay, don't hit me with the real football. Okay? Don't hit me with that. American football. I got this on me at all times. It's the first year in a long time I've been excited about football. I mean, the Super Bowl's next week. Then I'm done. Then I'm done for the year. My Chicago Bears were actually good this year. Then that was very fun. As a lifelong Bears fan, which has been pure misery, I had a good year. Disappointing end, but it is what it is. I would like to get into soccer though. I always get excited about it around the World Cup, but the rest of the year I just don't care, which is tough because I think I'd like it. Like I enjoy watching it when I seem to find the time to care. Do they do no? I tried to get tickets um for the World Cup here and it's like impossible. So that's cool. And then otherwise, I think no one watches MLS. No one that I know watches it. And then I'm really out of touch with like the current status quo of European soccer because in my head, like my understanding of the European soccer landscape is the teams that were good in like 2009. Have you seen the Tai Chi ads? It's all I get now. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. They're like these. No, I'm not even joking. They're AI generated ads, and they're just it's like a dude, and like it'll be like maybe like an 18-year-old 17 16-year-old like some teenage girl. She's sitting at a podcast setup, and she's like, so you're telling me if my dad goes on a 9-minute Tai Chi walk every day, he can look like you? And then it cuts to the right, and it's just this absolutely shredded dude, maybe like in his 50s. And he's just like, oh, yeah, if you go on a 9-minute Tai Chi walk every day, he'll be shredded. He'll be looking like me in a month. And then I get them like 3 times a day. It's the only ads I get. And I'm starting to think there's something to it because it's really funny. I'm like, maybe I should start doing Tai Chi. Like maybe he's onto something. It's unreal. And then my wife started getting them too. So now everyone's in on it. It's really funny. And then I saw like one of the, when you get a YouTube ad and it's like 10 minutes long, and it was one of those. And it was just Tai Chi. I watched it for like 3 minutes because I couldn't believe it. Like they put together a 10-minute long Tai Chi walk ad. That's crazy. But anyway, in my head, Manchester United is like the GOAT, which doesn't make any sense because I think they're bad. What about Apple? I do use AdBlock on most things, but it doesn't always work on YouTube. So then I just, let it ride. I also don't really watch YouTube very much. So when I do get ads, it's few and far between because I don't really watch stuff. But okay, well, we've succeeded though. We have ourselves a new window. Toggle window. And you can drag it around. And you can increase the window size, and that's awesome. And we can decrease the window size, which is sweet. So now what is next? Should I just re-implement buffers from scratch? That could be fun. Like I just use ropes and I format them and render them and everything. That could be cool. Kind of think I should. There's something about that sounds really fun. Terribly unproductive, though. I don't really know what I get out of it. I also want to do... I need to work on my... I got people waiting on my Catan, but I'm procrastinating on it. Because it's getting... I need to make UI elements, and I'm horrible at it. So I just sit there, like, fussing about until it looks, like, decent. But I got the bots working in Steel, so that's exciting. And then I could do some Steel stuff. Maybe I do some Steel dev. That could be good. Well, you can see it's not very sophisticated because I just been toying with it. And ignore the free identifiers because I haven't fixed the LSP yet for this part. But it's like I have hooks for like each action. So it's like, okay, on their turn start, what they do on an initial placement, what they do on trades. And they're like, I'm just calling into a bunch of Rust code. I don't have it calculated yet. Or I don't have it do it all by itself. But it's like, I have a whole module here, like exposing all the primitives. Perhaps we do reinforcement learning in Steel. Maybe that's how the bots are written. That could be fun. Could be the move. Could be the move. I guess in the 90s, what else would you use? C? I don't think the intersection of people doing reinforcement learning in the 90s and C was very large. At least for robotics. Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. That would be... Ada would be cool. I should build a robot. Build a robot powered by steel. And then put an LLM in it and get bought for $10 billion. And then you'll never hear from me again. Because apparently that's how it works now. I'm just joking. I think if I had $10 billion, I'd just only do steel. I'd like wake up, I'd walk the dog, go for a run, hit the gym, work on steel, make dinner, repeat until I croak or get bored. One of the two. I don't think I get that bored though. There's a lot to do. Maybe walk the dog like 3 times. I think that's like a lofty ambition is I need to upgrade the number of walks from 2 to 3. See, now you're talking. Okay, maybe that's what we do on the stream. Maybe we rewrite steel in steel. Maybe that's the goal. I would have to do something. That'd be kind of hard because there's a lot of shit to do. Could do it though. I've done a lot to make it, to push as much down to the macro layer as possible. So it's not impossible. The parts that would be very hard, I mean, could be the move. Define syntax. Define syntax and whatever they're called. Yeah, just define syntax. Syntax rules and syntax case. Here, we'll swap over. We'll swap over to that. Thoughts on syntax case? Is it controversial? Am I walking into a trap? I think syntax case is cool. Oh, dude, man. The steel haters just, they come out of the woodworks. I just don't care about the spec. I don't even know if I've cover to cover read. No, I have R7RS. Okay, so my thing with syntax. Yeah, exactly. I'm non-conforming. It's conformant enough, okay? Let's just put it that way. It's conformant enough. My opinion is syntax rules get you like 99% of the way there for like almost anything that any user space program could ever need. And that syntax case is the like, I'm making a library for other people and I want to do some cool shit with it. And that's when syntax case shines. Besides that, I think for like almost all use cases, syntax rules like gets the job done. I really only need to have broken out syntax case when I'm implementing something interesting. They're incredibly difficult. Incredibly hard. I didn't do it for a long time. You don't even want to know. If you want, I can walk through how I implemented syntax case. And then that may dissuade you or encourage you, depending on how much of a sicko you are, or a glutton for punishment. It's Oh, you got an ad? Fuck. I tried to turn them all the way down. My bad, my bad. I'll wait. Okay, sorry, my bad. I turned him down as much as possible because it's not like I'm getting insane ad revenue from 4 viewers. So there's really no reason. But I think they get kicked on by enforcement. And I don't take any breaks, which is like my problem. I probably should just like take like 30 seconds, kick it so that they don't run, and then come back. But anyway, I don't know where you left off. But my point was, do you want me to show you what I did for macro rule or for syntax rules, so that you can understand how much of a chore they are, at least from my implementation? Okay. So I think it depends. So also, I don't know what you're doing for your implementation, but a lot of people do. They use P syntax, which is not what I did. And if you're using like an already off the shelf implementation of macros, where you just have to provide the bootstrap or you just have to provide an environment that is compatible with P syntax and is compliant, then I think in that case, syntax case is really cool because you can do all sorts of really sweet stuff with it. In contrast, if you have to implement syntax case from scratch, you're in for some pain because it's not particularly easy. I use it only in a few spots in Steel, so I can go look though, because now I'm curious. And then I might do some other Steel stuff because I don't feel like fussing with the windows anymore. Let me just. Oh my god. It's doing some debugging clearly. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a couple features of syntax case that are like I think you could get away with implementing it really easily depending on, well, okay. Quote, really easily. Everything here is take it with a grain of salt. Is that if your API for like interacting with your pattern matcher is good, adding syntax case on top of syntax rules is not that difficult. But from like a user perspective, I'm very indifferent because I don't really find myself reaching for macros that often these days anyway. Like in most of the code that I write, like for Steel, like when I'm writing libraries, or if I'm writing stuff for Helix, like libraries around the core components. I pretty much the only stuff I've ever reached macros for is like the key map API, like the declarative key map API, handful of config functions. I'm like, macros work great. The only one that I was like, I need syntax case for was match. And this sucked a lot. It was probably I could not tell you how this works. I don't even remember when I wrote it. I don't even remember how it works at all. But I needed syntax case for this. And the way I've implemented syntax case is it's on top of I have like, again, it's very non-standard, but it's on top of like def macro. I didn't really read any literature. So when you say I've been working on it, they were like, oh, what the heck? Oh my God, I have emotes. Oh shit, I have emotes. Wait, I got to make some sweet emotes. Oh. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this tonight or after this or something. I'll make some emotes. That'll be fun. That's fun. We'll have like a little lambda or something. Maybe a little helix if they don't get mad at me. Maybe a little helix in there. That could be fun. Lambda would be cool. Okay, so again, I didn't really read any literature on the subject. And in fact, like going into working on Steel, I had no intentions of implementing syntax case. I was like, syntax rules were really the only macros I'd ever written. And I was like, you know what? Syntax rules seem good enough for me. That's fine. Only when I hit the case where I was like, syntax case, it like didn't work for me, I was like, okay, maybe it's time I try to go, like, maybe it's time I implement it myself. What is Kohlbecker? What is that? What is that? See, I don't now I'm confused. Oh, wait, no, I do know who this is. This is the I do okay. That's right. Never mind. I did know that. I pulled up the paper and it instantly connected. I also have some escape hatches in the macro system for non-hygienic macros, syntax rules macros. But that's a secret that is kept between me and the source code, and I will not reveal those secrets because then people will get mad at me and be like, "Oh my God, your macros aren't hygienic." Well, they are, except when they're not. Okay, so they're hygienic unless I the way I got around it is that I added some escape hatches so that like standard library macros could be non-hygienic because I knew I was keeping it real. But besides that, it's hygienic. Unless you know the incantations that get you there. But yeah, I think over time I just haven't found the need to care too much about syntax case. However, in a world in which you want to like embed a DSL inside of Scheme or Lisp or Racket or whatever, then syntax case is king. It's the coolest stuff ever. So like in this case, this is how I implemented match. Is it's like I started writing a pattern matcher that like didn't use it didn't use like macros at all. It was just like I think it was like this. Let me see. It's like, yeah, it's like I just kind of wrote a matcher, a generic matcher to do like destructuring. So you would say like with like free variables. This was from literally I took a classical AI. Well, I didn't even take a classical AI class. My wife took a classical AI class in college, and I was jealous because I didn't take it. And I looked at some of the material that they were working off of, and I was like, oh, I could do this in Steel because that class was in Common Lisp. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I implemented it in Steel? So then I like ran off to my little cave and I implemented the stupid pattern matcher that they were doing with all these like free variables. So then I took that, which was just working on lists and stuff. And then I said, okay, I'll actually like integrate it into the the macro system. But again, syntax case is awesome because it depends on the implementation, but if you're using like syntax objects to represent your stuff instead of just like lists, that's awesome. Because then you can preserve like source code information for better error messages, et cetera, et cetera. In a world in which you don't have those, which is just like your common Lisp def macros, like kind of suck in my opinion, because then you end up interacting with some library that just throws your most opaque error, and you go, I don't know what's up. See, you could go with P syntax, or you could do it all yourself. But it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. Okay. It's about the journey. Is it though? Is it too short? It could be. It could be worth it. All right, let's see. What did I want to do here? I think I want to... Well, let's see. I could look at match. Do I even use it anywhere? Oh, another place I use this is I did something where I wrote like custom linters in the LSP. So you could add rules based off of pattern matchers against the against your source code. Let me see. I don't remember where I did that. I think it's like... There's something there. There's something... It's like... Yeah, I was like, define lint. Yeah, it was like you can write a check against the expression and say like, well, if it looks like this, and it would destructure automatically. That was fun. That was a fun time. Well, okay. What did I want to do today? I think there's two things I could do. I got working capabilities the other day. So I could check that out. I don't remember what it was called. Let's see. All right. All right. Yeah, here we go. It was like this. Again, minus the someone asked why I wasn't using my own built-in terminal. Okay, well fine. I'll use it. I'll use the built-in terminal. And it was like if I load, there we go. So I added some stuff where you can limit what a module it can do. And then it checks it out. It'll insert checks at runtime to say don't, you know, you're not allowed to access read, or it was here, read does this. So you're not allowed to access that. But we could do something else. So we can see if it works. So I think I have like file system access, and I do like file system. It's like, let's see, capabilities, file system access. File system access. New file system. We'll do like fs read, but it can only look at like, let's say it can only look at this directory. So let's see if this works. That works fine, which is cool. But if I try to read, the directory above, it does not work. So that's cool. Where it currently has flaws is it's not 100% wired in with all the continuations to work correctly, which I just need to continue chugging along at it. But I have some ideas there. And then otherwise, it also does not wrap code that is within the module that is running at the top level yet. So that's the next step. So for example, like if I run something here, if I just run like a top level expression, which is like, if I do this and then I run the stuff, it does in fact, okay, I can't do that apparently. Gotta revive that. If I do this, it does let me do it, which I don't necessarily want. I don't necessarily want that. So the way I'm implementing this is I'm inserting all of these additional checks here. So like during the module expansion time, I'm like applying these capability wrappers. So we can see what that looks like and why this doesn't work. So if we do like cargo run AST require true this, So this is like the debug output. Hello, Bob's your mom. Great name. Great name. UK. What's your favorite soccer team? Nice. Toronto Raptors. Yeah, you know ball. Okay, so when you do this, you can see the debug AST, which I think is fun. But here we'll see when we define this function. This is basically how the contracts work too. It like does the exact same thing that the contracts do. If you expose a function at the module boundary, it will wrap it with effectively a contract that says like don't do this thing. Which I except so in this case it then calls this wrap with capability, which is this thing, which then creates a new function that has this with capability inside of it. With capability expands to do some dynamic wind stuff, which does the push and the pop. The push and the pop of the capability stack, so wherever we currently are. So in this case, it says, okay, great, like, here we're allowing you to read from from the dot. But there's all of this top level code right here that is not called with that. So I need to do that. I need to make that happen. Which could be a fun exercise, or it could be really hard. But I don't think it's too bad, because we also run this this module context stuff here. So like every time we enter a module, we kind of like call this top level code that's like push the module context. Anytime we're entering the module context. So what I probably can do is just emit calls directly to push on the capabilities and pop off the capabilities, the same spot we're at entering the module context. And then I just need to make sure that if there's an error at any point during this, that I wipe out the module context, in case that like the control flow is goofy. That's probably what I need to do. But tail calls, probably going to miss something here. I probably need to wrap like the whole thing in a dynamic wind, but they're all like top level. So I don't know quite yet, but we're just messing around. We're messing around. We'll see if it works. And then there's a bunch of other capabilities that I want to instrument. So I'll just work on this for a bit. So what is that? Push module context. Okay. So we're calling this here. So I have maybe wrap with capabilities. Is that... I don't even know what this does. I wrote this a long time ago. And I only revived it just like last week. Okay. Just delete all of this nonsense. Okay, so we're pushing and we are popping module context. What does push module context even do? Okay, I just have a module context here. I mean, it's probably a bug. that I'm not clearing the module context. That's another thing. That's another thing that could happen. But let's just keep going. Let's keep going. So this is probably not going to be correct, but we will built-in definitions dot push. What do I want to do here? Maybe wrap with capabilities. See, maybe wrap with capabilities. Maybe wrap with capabilities. What does this do? Okay. Those are all of my current capabilities. And I'm just calling with capabilities. I probably just need this. Because when I call with capabilities, I'm just calling guarded expert capabilities. I mean, I probably can just do... I need push capabilities. This is tricky. With capability. I guess I just need to call this. With capabilities is hard. The problem is I don't want to expose blanket access to the capability API because otherwise you could arbitrarily push and pop them yourself, which is no good. And that's the problem with the top level expressions. What does dynamic dynamic wind return? It does. I think it just returns the value in the middle. No. Dynamic wind, lambda, nothing. Yeah. Okay. So I could go through and wrap every top level definition. Every top level definition with I could go through every top level definition will get it's crazy. I start doing stuff like this and I just end up reinventing all of the hard parts of Racket. And it's a bummer because they got like 30 years on me. And I'm really behind. Because Racket has this notion, I think they're called like chaperones. I mean, I love Racket. It's a really cool. It's a beautiful language, but um, there's like chaperones and I watched a thing on Set of Scopes. See, now that's a good line there. That's a good line. Steel isn't a scheme, it's a racket. That's good. Maybe that should be my tagline. I also got to make a new website for Steel because the current one kind of ass and the docs aren't good. It's not a scheme, it's a racket. I love that. That's a great line. I'm stealing that. I'm not giving you credit. Nah, you'll get credit. I'm joking. Yeah, it's like, but then people are gonna pop in and be like, so when can I implement a Lua DSL using hash lang and Steel so that I can write Lua and Helix? That's what they're gonna do. That's the first question people will ask. But also, I watched a talk on Set of Scopes. Yeah, right after the Helix plugins emerged. Okay. All right, you got jokes. I watched a talk on Set of Scopes. I did see that. Is it any good? I skimmed through it. I don't have a lot of confidence in it. But they said it was like, quote, based off of mine. And then I looked at it and it didn't look anything like mine. So that's why I wasn't really sure what they were talking about. But it totally could have been. I'm not trying to throw shade. If it works and they're happy with it, by all means. But I think anyone who claims that Lua is easier to read than Scheme they don't got eyes. They're both hard to read. So I don't know what to tell you. They're both hard to read if you're not familiar with them. And then as soon as you become familiar, they're not hard to read at all. Much like anything else. It's like trying to read Haskell if you're not comfortable with Haskell. You're like, what the hell is going on here? And then you like look at it for like a little bit of time and you're like, all right. It's the same shit. I got nothing against Lua though. It is cool. I think I've written probably 15 lines of it in my entire life. But yeah, I'm not trying to get into Flame Wars. I'm in enough of those already. Yeah, exactly. Like you can drop in like a single thing and boom, you've got the extension. But it's not quite the same for Rust. It's a little bit different. You still got to really do quite a bit of work to integrate your code with any extension system. What's the biggest flame war you're in? Currently, the biggest flame war I'm in is that everyone that I work with thinks shrimp is disgusting. Which is crazy to me, because I love shrimp. That's the current biggest flame war I'm in. It's a fight like every day. All right. There it is. It's literally... Okay, see... I watched you eat the shrimp pizza, man. Yeah, there was shrimp pizza. It was really strange. However, I did eat it, and it was just like a shrimp scampi pizza. It really begs the question, why? Why were they making shrimp scampi pizza? Why didn't they just make shrimp scampi? It's really not that different because they basically did everything except they just put it on a flatbread instead of putting it on pasta. I think I would have preferred it on the pasta, but it was still pretty tasty. Okay. But okay, let's see. What we were talking about Lua. We had CABI isn't everything. the C calling convention. Yes, exactly. It's just interacting with, if you want your code to work nice over FFI or embed like with a C written scripting extension, et cetera, in Rust, it's like really you got to start, like, everything that you interact with on the other side has to be just like an opaque box, which is fine. If you want to write the code that way, that's fine. But Steel takes the approach of doing some, like, it basically is like opaque boxes for most structs, but in general, you can get like native interop a little bit better. Which again, I found it to be more elegant implementing it. It was all. It just felt better. Okay, the shrimp. That's the big current flame war is the shrimp. Shrimp burrito is delicious. I will be taking no further questions. I also would probably eat fried grasshoppers. I probably would. I think he knows about me. I think he's baiting you. He's baiting you into the conversation about shrimp burritos. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. It is quite, I think it works shockingly well. It works shockingly well. I did yoink a lot of inspiration from, like, I think it's called Rye. Rye's API was really good. And I looked at that and I said, I could do that too. So then I sort of implemented the same style. And it seems to work pretty well. Get out of here, man. It's a good one. Shellfish, aren't they called turtles? I'll drop that one at work and I'll claim that I invented it. That's a good line. As long as you aren't there. Okay, what do I want to do? I'm trying to do call with capabilities. Okay, what do I call with capabilities? This is hard. I haven't even written anything. I've just been staring at the code. Too busy talking. It's like I need to go through every definition. And then if it's a built-in, I ignore it. If it's a function, I wrap it. I said that like if it's a function, I wrap it. What's the it's like 15 years old now. The Super Hot Fire video. It's a great video. The glasses jacket shirt, call me glasses jacket shirt man. Great video. Super Hot Fire, I spit that. Oh. From the golden yeah, super hot boy, 100 degrees leather jacket because I'm super hot boy. Great video. The golden era of the internet before it became absolutely just a cesspit. Great time to be on YouTube, to be on what do we call it? What were people rocking back in the day? Was it Vimeo? Was Vimeo what it was called? There's another one. I agree with you. I deleted all the apps off my phone. I don't have any apps on my phone. I don't know news. If something's important enough, I will learn about it. Even on Hacker News, like half the comments on Hacker News are bots. And I will not be convinced otherwise. Because the way they're talking does not sound human. That person back there is not real. Is that another one? I learned about that one before I quit going on the apps. There's nothing there. They're just trying to get you mad. They want you to be sad so that you don't walk your dog 3 times a day. I just want to walk my dog, toss the rock, make some food. We're making pizza tonight. I'm very excited. Making pizza tonight. We're gonna do like a pepperoni. We have a bunch of pepperoni that we need to use. So we'll do a pepperoni with like some veggies on it. Some mushrooms maybe. Is my pizza whole grain? I don't know. My wife is making the dough. I'm not the one making it. I'm standing there and I'm nibbling while the pizzas are cooking. If you take a bagel and you cut it in half the wrong way and then put peanut butter in between it, is it a sandwich? Is it peanut butter sandwich? But it's like the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Whole grain dough would probably be pretty good though. Well, that's one of the pizzas. What other? We're doing a Hawaiian controversial. Pineapple on pizza. I like it. I'm sorry. If you want to leave the stream, the X button is in the top right. I'm sorry. I love it. It's good stuff. And then for the third pizza, I don't even remember what we're doing on the third one. Oh, dog visit. Come here, bud. Dog visit. Pineapple with shrimp pizza would be good. I would love. I should do that. I'll make some shrimp. I'm not being sarcastic. I'll do it. Okay, Sherman, can you write the code, please? I don't want to do it. I'm stuck. Okay. I could get a Sherman emote. I think that would be the move. Put him into a little emote. Or emote, whatever they're called, man. Would raw salmon be good on pizza? I think yes. I think it would be. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You could do like, I guess you could put like cream cheese on the pizza. You could do like you could put like capers and cream cheese on like dough. It's basically just a bagel with lox. It's probably good though. Exactly, probably. Yeah, make a bagel. Could be good. I have not had goat cheese on a pizza, but that does sound good. That does sound good. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, the goal is to add capabilities on top level values. That's the goal. So as we're going through the thing, do I want to wrap it with the capability? And I think the answer... Wait a minute. I'm already doing that. What the heck? The code already does what I'm trying to do, but it doesn't actually do it? Okay. Maybe wrap with capabilities. What does that do? Maybe wrap with capabilities. There's a leaf blower outside. Can it be heard? I certainly hope not. Okay, that's good. Unfortunately, I can hear it because it's like right outside the window. It's really loud. All right. Why am I not? Why? Okay, because it's that works, but this is not getting wrapped. Okay. So then there's we're going through this. Okay, for each expert. If it's a defined, otherwise maybe wrap with capabilities. Okay, what does this do? And then let's see. Okay. Okay, so there's the capabilities have not been. I see. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, the way I'm doing this just simply won't work. That sucks. Oh, that sucks. I just realized it won't work. Okay. So why it won't work is the way I constructed the capabilities is that like you have your module code. Okay. Here, let me just. Okay. So if you write like a module, blow this the frick up. If you write a module, let's say there's like a bunch of code in it, whatever. Given that modules can be depended on by multiple people, and the way modules are instantiated is that like we traverse the tree and we attempt to find the module, and if the module's already been like loaded, the module's already been loaded, we don't reload it. So if module A has a bunch of stuff and it also has some like top level, it has things like read dir, and it does some instantiation at the top level. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we have no clue what the capabilities are. The way I was adding the capabilities, like let's say module B does require module A. Right? This, let's say it's like, okay, and then we do like provide foo. Okay, when we do this though, when I call foo, this is actually like lambda args, with capabilities, etc. Apply foo. Like that's what's happening. Foo is manipulated. It's not the same foo. So, it's like with capabilities in. When you do this, you're saying like, hey, for every function pointer that comes out of module B, wrap it with a thing. But inside of module A, like if you throw in some top level expression, unfortunately, there's no restrictions. Because at the time of loading, we don't enforce any capabilities. Like they're not even seen. And what's even worse is it's like, okay, well, so going in, we'll know, for example, okay, well, module B requires module A. It's like, okay, great. Look at module A, like push down the stack of capabilities that we've described. And then we go into module A and we say, all right, fine. We're wrapping it. Here's all the capabilities. Problem there is that module A could be depended on by two different things. And they may have different capabilities that may or may not align, at least like from the caller's perspective, it doesn't matter if they align or not. But from the for the module loading perspective, it may matter. And we can't reinitialize a module. Module can only be initialized once. If it's reinitialized, it actually just like wipes out the old one. We like make a new one. Which sucks. I'm open to suggestions. I don't quite know how I'll do that. It's particularly tricky. I could disallow top-level expressions if a capability has been supplied. Like if there's any capabilities on the stack. But I don't know. I also don't know of any literature on the subject. Read some literature on the subject. What is that? That's a song. Oh, what's that song? That's a great song. What is it? That's what is that song? Oh, International Players Anthem. Great song. Yeah, I don't know if there's like literature on capabilities that are enforced at this level. That sucks. Takes the wind out of my sails. Takes the wind out of my sails. The yeah, because it's like this. Like what? How? I don't know. If everything was by default disabled, that could maybe help. If everything was by default disabled, that could help. But that's not what I want. Okay, well, Let's see. Is this a like capabilities? Finding really interesting papers when I Google this. Scoped capabilities. I guess. Yes, they do limit my capabilities. That sucks. Kind of like defeats the whole point, doesn't it? Because you can just escape the sandbox by just calling top level stuff. And that multiple modules can happen independent. Like, I guess if it were in like a static initialization where you say like some kind of static initial, like if you're running one script via the CLI, like one entry point, and it's just you're not in interactive mode, you would be able to detect all, like, the entire graph, and we could just coalesce all of the capabilities and just apply them. That would be fine. But in an interactive mode, which is kind of where this is, I think, more useful in general, is that like you can load one module at a time. Like module A, module B, module C, like you're just loading them one by one. They may depend on the same things, they may not. And if they do depend on the same thing, that module will only get loaded once. But that's really annoying. That one may have to simmer. Because I don't know. Oh. I also could say I could disallow top level expressions. I could disallow top level expressions with modules that are in this mode. I guess or I could make top level modules have no, I mean, top level modules could just have nothing. Perhaps not. Maybe today is not the day. Let's check out. Let's do eval with namespaces because I don't know how to do that right now. All right. Okay, so where we left off on eval with namespaces was that it worked, which is sweet. So now I just have to remember even how to call it in the first place. Very excited about my window. That's sweet. Anyway. Okay, it's like... Okay. I make a namespace. Eval with namespace. Right? It doesn't know about it. I call X and then I do like eval with namespace. And that works. That works. The problem is it has no environment. No environment from the outside. Okay, so this is where I wanted to try to patch. I wanted to try to patch values from one module to the other module. So that's kind of hard. So that's like if you have a namespace, like in this case, a namespace pretty much just represents like it just represents a base level environment, which would be just, I guess, more or less like the kernel. In your, there's a gold, silver, electrum. In your Lisp, do you have a kernel? Or is everything done in user space or in Rustland? Do you like have a sub interpreter? Or is it just one interpreter? Because in mine, I got two. I got a compiler. I got a runtime inside the runtime. Okay. I think kernel, new bootstrap kernel. What is in a kernel? Okay, so the kernel, basically what I want to do is I want to say, like, if we're in some file and we're like, you know, foobar, whatever, you can make make a namespace. So we have a new namespace. It would be sweet if then, like, so let's say I have my namespace here. Okay, awesome. I have this namespace. I can say like define, you know, I can say like require foo.sem. This instantiates a bunch of stuff. Expose it, you know, whatever. There's an object in memory that represents this module. I want to then take that and I want to say, cool, we've instantiated this module. I want to like give this module to the namespace. I know it's like something like provide module namespace and then say like foo.sem. And I want that to be morally equivalent to calling require foo.sem inside of the module, except if I do that here, it will reload the module. And so in order to do this, I have to basically walk the full tree and map everything from A to B, which I don't really know if that's a good idea. It's like I'm like linking basically. But maybe it's fine. Because it would basically, I would say, go through everything in the compiler. And then I take the symbol map in one and the symbol map in the other. And I want to populate it. In order to do that, I would have to go through the entire transitive tree of reference. I guess it's just I'm like linking. I'm linking is what I'm doing. I can do it though. It just kind of sucks. I don't even know if it's worth it. It may not be worth the time. I don't know how I want to do this. I guess it's kind of cool though. So let's see. It would be like I'd have to go look at the modules. Every second I do this, I'm like, maybe I should just work on Catan. Because Catan at least looks visually good. This is pain. Or I should work on the JIT, which is pure pain. But it's also cool. Okay. So we have a compiled module. Let's look at that. Okay, so this has everything inside of it. Okay. So in this compiled module cache, I know all of the provides. So I would have to go through this and find all of the identifiers that are exposed by the module. Okay. I would then take that. I would then walk the full tree, and then I would define all of those in the new environment. Okay, I think this is possible. Let's just write the function to do it. Okay, so it's like impulse. So we'll call this populate module, or we'll say require module. And then we're going to pass that. Okay. Anyone else a member of Big File Club? I love big files. Anyone who comes to me and says your file's too big, they've been got by what do we call it? They've been got is all. They want you to make more windows. Me personally, I prefer big files. It's a big file. 100K squared. It's a big file. Okay. Well, when I say big file, I mean like lines in the text, not necessarily number of bytes on disk. However, the file I'm currently in is like close to 8,500 lines. That's pretty big. I could break it up, but I won't. I don't want... I've seen some like 100,000 line files. That's kind of maybe too big. It's maybe too big. I can't remember there was a game. Was it Undertale? That it was like all if statements in one file? Was that Undertale or was that Stardew Valley? I remember hearing that. Okay, all of those words are incomprehensible to me. What is it? Yeah, what is what is this game? How do you even say this? Yandere Simulator? I feel like I'm going to get in trouble just by looking at it. I do know Latin, actually. I took Latin. I was talking about the first thing, okay? I took Latin. I took Latin in high school. Don't make me recite the first 11 lines of the Aeneid because I only remember like the first two. But at one point I memorized quite a bit. Ultima ratio regum. Ratio? Ratio? I don't think they did ratio in Latin. Radio? Yeah, that's a sentence I've never read before. Okay, so the first things first, let's find... let's do AST require... let's try that. Okay, so we've named the module in something insane. It's an insane thing. But let's see if we can... Okay. We're going to look at the compiler, and we're going to look at the module manager. We're going to look at the module manager. We're going to look at the... Let's see. I feel like... Modules. What is modules? how are we naming them? I think it would be like we'll just do it like this. Let's see, modules dot get. Okay, we have a module, compiled module. What is that? What is the name? What is the prefix? Ah, man. Cached prefix. But how do I use it? Okay, whatever. We'll just do this first. Compiled module dot prefix. Okay. Well, let's at least like do something about this at least. Let's test it. Namespace querying. We'll do for module in engine dot virtual machine dot compiler dot read dot modules module manager dot modules. Let's try that. Cargo test. Let's just check out what is happening here. All right. I did get steel building with basil not too long ago. Does that mean I want to do that? No. But I did. It's not necessary. In my opinion. I don't need to do basil. I would build my own basil before I used basil outside of work. I think that would be my okay, what do I call the module? Underscore, okay. And then okay, so then I call it like this. And then the module prefix is like this. Okay, this is horrendous business. Okay. Module name. Module name is like module compiled. It would be like format. You know, I tried using Buck2 as well. There is like a decent guide out there for using Buck2 instead of Cargo. Well, I guess in conjunction with Cargo. Whatever. It's out there. But I think it suffers from the same, like, the docs they're just not there. At least for me personally. Okay, so that's good. So now I want to say guard dot symbol map dot get module name. Perfect. We're gonna panic. Well, we're not gonna panic, but we're just not gonna do anything. Yeah, well, I don't know. When did Buck2 get open source? Was it pre-Llama? Pre-Llama? A time when people actually wrote stuff? Okay. Okay, so let's test this logic here. We'll call it this one. Okay, maybe it was then. Maybe it was generated from it. I need something moving on the screen. Kind of sounds like a you problem, brother. But here, let me get you something. I could get here, show keys. You can see my keys moving. Kind of looks goofy though. The theming is a little annoying. Oh, it's just because of the divider. There we go. I don't know. It's not that goofy. It's kind of sick. Well, for a while I was able to keep up with. I don't consider myself a millennial. So I think the only option left is that I'm a Zoomer. Okay, hate millennials is a strong word, but I wouldn't go as far as hate, but also I don't disagree. I don't disagree. The millennial stylings is tough out here. Anytime you see like a house and it's just black and white, I'm like, what are we doing here? Could we get any other colors involved? That is infuriating. And then also, there's just some, other things. Like anytime you look at a picture from like 2010 and you see what people are wearing and you're like, holy crap, I was also wearing that, but I was a lot younger than people wearing that. And it just kind of takes you by surprise. What am I working on? Okay, so there's a couple things I'm working on in tandem because I'm getting distracted. But I'm currently working on Steel, which is an implementation of Scheme, a dialect of Scheme that I've made in Rust. And then I'm working on some deep niche things here with Steel. And then I've also been working on some plugins for Helix, which I've added Steel to in order to do plugins. And Helix is a text editor, if you're not familiar with it. But what I was working on today, earlier, is this. Is this little window toggle, and then I added the Twitch chat to it. How is he? Looks like that new open world game. Oh, I added all my. I need to remove my tests. No, Helix is, well, I don't know what Helix refers to outside of the text editor. Probably a bunch of things because it's a cool word. So this is I froze Helix. That's fun. I'll work on that later. I froze it though. That's awesome. I learned something though. There's a bug in here somewhere. But I was working on that earlier. So Helix is a text editor that's like Vim, but not quite like Vim. So it's modal like Vim, meaning like you have the various like insert mode and etc. moving around, and then you insert to type things, and then you leave insert mode. But it's got a different model for like the movement and whatnot, so that it's ever so slightly different from Vim, enough that people don't typically, if you're comfortable with Vim, you don't probably right away like Helix. But it also has a bunch of stuff, batteries included. Your language server works out of the box, like that kind of thing. Syntax highlighting, they're pretty straightforward. It didn't have plugins though, and a couple years ago I added plugins, and it's been waiting to get merged. It'll get merged eventually here. So every once in a while, I just make new plugins, like the embedded terminal is done with Steel as well. And then this little keys toggle at the bottom, that's done with Steel as well. But right now, if you're not familiar with any Lisps, that's Steel is a scheme. So it kind of looks like this. The parentheses. So right now I'm trying to do some stuff, some very niche stuff with modules, working on modules. So in a lot of in Scheme you can do what's called eval, where eval means you can like execute arbitrary code at runtime, like dynamically. Now, there's all sorts of caveats with eval. Let me just... There's all sorts of caveats with eval, but in general, eval has a second parameter. So the first is the code that you want to run, and the second is the namespace you want it to run in. Up until a couple weeks ago, I did not have any implementation of... I didn't have anything that actually represented namespaces in Steel. The way I implemented eval was a little tricky. So I went through and I implemented namespaces, but now I'm trying to bridge namespaces so that if you have a module in one namespace and you kind of want to transfer it to a different namespace, you can do so without reloading that module. That's the goal here. So far, so good. So now I can say ask for a module name and I can get the contents of that module. So that's good. So that's step one. That's step one. So now we're going to go through that and we're going to do some stuff with it. Okay. Impulse Steel namespace. Okay. Awesome. So this does work. So now for key value in if let steel val hash map equals value. For sure. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Embedded hardware stuff sounds cool. If you come up with anything, well, I would imagine that's what you're using your Lisp for. So, catch you later. All right, so the Lisp exactly, and then we'll build our own robot using it. Now we're talking. We gotta design the chips first, though, or mine the silicon. Okay, so let's do... I'll try to wrap this up maybe 15 minutes, and then I'll probably call it. I gotta go do my second dog walk, as previously mentioned. Okay, so let's do... there's a lot of code in here. Let's do... it's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Okay, so this is the key end value. So this is the binding. Okay. So now what's tricky is I have to like walk. I gotta walk this. So I think... I've done this before. So let's see. I do like within the engine. I think I do like GC sources. How do I do that? Sources collector. Is it GC sources? Or is it like global slot recycler? That's it. Global slot recycler. Yes. Yes. Global slot recycler. The idea here is a collection will traverse all active values and will check to make sure that these are reachable. If the values are eventually reachable, then we can keep iterating until this is completely drained. If we reach the end of our iteration, this isn't drained. Whatever left is now freeable, and we can make this as free in the symbol map. Okay, awesome. Who wrote that? Me, and I don't remember when. Okay, so now we're going to go through this. Now, what this does is I need to do the opposite of this. I don't need global slot recycler. I need global slot reachable. So I need to find all of the globals that are reachable from this module. So I'm going to let's do that. Let's go here. Okay, awesome. I'm going to yoink this bad boy, and I'm going to change it up. But for the purposes of this exercise, I will be copying all of the code. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of. Oh. What is so. Okay, I don't need the heap. Don't need the heap. I don't need the heap. I don't need to do any of this. I do need the mark and sweep context. I do need that. Okay, now we are close. And then I need a heap ref. Awesome. Okay. I said remove all unused imports. Rust analyzer. Struggling. There we go. Okay. This is good. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually reaching things and I'm removing them. So these slots, I don't want to do that. And then I'm saying I'm passing all of these roots. I don't. Okay. The roots are going to be the values that I have. That's fine. I don't need this. I don't know what the symbol map is for. I'm not using it. I don't need this. Okay, and now the slots. Slots contains slots I want to insert this time. Okay, that's good. This seems to be working. And now I don't want to global slot reacher, perhaps. Slightly better name. Global slot reacher. Reacher. I'm very close. We're almost there. Hash set use size. Cycler dot slots. Okay, awesome. So now I say I have to find what's reachable, rewrite them, and then go and then rewrite again. Oh, that's a chore. All right, we'll just do this first part and then we'll call it. It's just fine. So let's do, we'll do the roots are like this. We'll do roots dot push value dot clone. Okay. Well, let's check this on my engine test. And then I'm gonna call global slot reacher. Find reachable. Find my roots. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's crazy. linking error. Come on. Nothing. Didn't find anything. Well, that's not satisfying, is it? Okay, let's see. Find reachable. We got runaway rust analyzer. Going crazy. Okay. So what's happening? Find reachable. We're going through these routes. So what's happening? I'm finding nothing. Oh. Let's try that. I wasn't even putting them into the queue. Okay, still nothing. That's crazy. Oh, maybe I'm not even visiting. Oh, yeah, I'm not actually doing anything. That's why. Okay. Now that I've confirmed that, run this. Awesome. So these are all of the reachable globals. Excuse me. Okay, so these are all reachable. So then, okay, so then I need to say, so, okay, that's good. I think I'm going to call it right there, but I'll pick up with this the next time. So the idea here is we're going to find all the reachable globals from this module. So this module gives me a set of just like global index. We're then going to take that and we're going to say, okay, awesome. Map global index old to global index new. So we have to make a mapping there. Then patch like old values into new environment. Then we're going to need one more visitor, global slot, like renamer, which iterates over everything, renames the indexes to the new spots. Yeah. So that's going to be that's going to be the idea. So we'll pick up with that before or the next time, and that will give us the ability to patch modules in. All right. I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching. This was fun. I was mildly productive, minus the part where I'm devastated about capabilities. But I'll let that simmer in the Mind Palace for a couple days. Maybe I come up with something cool. All right. Catch y'all later.